Welcome back to the Evan Phillips Show, guys, and thank you for joining me on this episode. We're going to talk about Vroom after 2,000 miles. Stay tuned. All right, guys, as you heard me say, we're going to be talking about how has my experience been post Vroom purchase. I'm going to go over some things that came up, and I'm going to discuss also how they were handled by Vroom and some things that were, issues that were not necessarily taken care of. So let's start out with this. So when you guys get your vehicle, you're going to have a card like this in your glove compartment. So you guys will get this card, and you can see your 7-day or 250-mile period to return the vehicle and receive a refund for the sale price starts today. All of this will come in your glove compartment. So it just goes on to say that to look for the titling and registration overview in your inbox in the next few business days, which will outline everything you'll need to know. The temporary tag that arrived with your vehicle allow you, I transferred the tag, so it'll be a little different for you guys. But I just kind of wanted to go over some of the issues that came up. So if you guys remember, I said that you would want to take your vehicle to a dealer and find out any issues that are still existing on the vehicle and that you need to get those fixed. So this is what happened. Okay, so there are a few items that came up that needed to be addressed. One of them was the window regulator. So there was just, I noticed a noise when I would roll the window up and down, and it just didn't sound right. So the regulator needs to be replaced. Another weird thing happened. I went to get gas, and I thought for some reason I was crazy. I've got other Audi vehicles, and they all typically work the same, where you can push in the gas door and it'll pop out. So it wasn't doing that. So, I was stuck at the gas station for like 15 minutes trying to get the fuel tank open. I didn't want to break the door, so I went online and I read, and I guess there's an actuator that gets stuck sometimes, and that was an issue. The other thing that came up were the disc brakes. So what happens is Vroom does what you call a 40-point inspection, and I'm just going to read what that is to you guys really quick here. So if you look up what a 40-point inspection is on Google, it'll say an inspection is designed to give a comprehensive assessment of your vehicle and will identify any safety issues your car may have. All elements, especially those that cover passenger safety, are covered in this process and includes like tire tread and air pressure, the battery, charging systems, braking, etc. Right? Those sort of things are safety related, and they have to make sure those items are working. Now that doesn't mean that they're not going to give you a good vehicle. It just means they want to make sure it's safe. So that leaves a little room for things like the regulator or the gas door. In my opinion, I don't think the brakes should be an issue, but they are, and it seems like they would have fixed them. So here's what happened in my situation. And to me, the biggest things were really the brakes, but I'll break down what happened. So with a vehicle like an Audi, obviously take it to an Audi dealership, it's going to cost a lot of money. So when you file your claim and you're taking it to a place like Audi, it's going to be quite substantial. I think it came to around $5 or $6 grand. In repairs. Now, do I think that's a realistic number? I think it's a little high in my opinion. I can do the work for half that cost and with parts. But what ended up happening was, this claim got submitted, and Vroom ultimately ended up denying the claim, and they said, well, you can just send us the vehicle back. Now, I like the vehicle. I think it's a good car. I don't think that, it really needs to be returned just for a few minor items like that. So what I did is I called them out. I said, well, how about we do this? I said, there were some other things on the list, like the vehicle needed an internet update, which I think Audi was charging like $800 for that. It's another one of those things I think I can just do it over Wi-Fi or download the updates to an SD card and update those things. So I told Vroom, I said, I'll go ahead and do those things myself. Just pay me out for the brakes and a few other items. So they took this back, and they ended up coming back to me, and they actually said, well, can you define which items and get that from the dealer and send us over the quote paperwork that the dealership gave you. So I ended up doing that. And it took about 2 business days for that to actually happen. And, they finally said, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll just cover those items. Now, here's where it gets really good. So once again, this just worked out for my benefit. So Audi told me up front, we will not take a payment over the phone, right? For whatever reason, they have to have it in person. It's the policy of the dealership. So when Vroom went to go pay Audi for this, Audi declined the payment. They said, we're not going to be able to take that. So what they said is, well, what we can do is we can overnight you a check. And they wrote it out to me. So they overnighted a check for a very nice amount that I was able to deposit into my bank. And I'm just going to go ahead and order the parts myself and install them. So honestly, it really worked out once again for my benefit. The amount of money that I received was well more than enough to cover the cost for the real issues to me, and that would be the brakes. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just put a nice brake kit on the SQ5 and call it a day. So that's a little bit about what happened in regards to the vehicle and with the claim and how it went. The claim process is pretty straightforward. You basically, you just have to get the paperwork from the dealership. And once you upload that and any other documents they request, it takes them typically about 2 to 3 business days, I would say, before they reach out to you. Now, if you call them, like I said in the first video about Vroom, I called them and they were always quick to answer the phone. And I was able to get the process expedited because I told them, hey, we're going to be traveling. So we actually went on vacation and I drove the SUV to Disney a few times, it did very well. We've been very happy with the vehicle and the way that it's performed. And overall, we are very happy with the process. So, if you're, looking for a perfect vehicle, I wouldn't say you're necessarily going to find a perfect vehicle. There's always going to be some things that come up. And I would say if you're savvy enough to know what should cost what, you can bargain with Vroom and say, hey, let's not do these, let's just cover these items. And they, in most cases, will work with you. I think they have a limit on the amount, obviously, that they want to write out for insurance. They have to make a profit off of it, right? So, plus they're already, shipping the vehicle to you and all of that. So, overall, we're happy with the truck. And actually, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be purchasing another vehicle from Vroom. And I'm going to tell you guys how that whole experience goes. So I'm going to see if they're willing to give me a discount for buying an additional vehicle, or if they're willing to work out a delivery fee or whatever. I'm always willing to ask, right? It doesn't hurt to do that. So I'm going to update you guys on how that goes. And also, I've got another project coming up with Turo that I'm going to be sharing with you guys as well. So I hope that this video has helped someone in the process with Vroom. And if you have a claim or any questions like that about your claim, or you can just leave a question in the comments below. And as always, I'm going to be glad to answer those questions for you guys. Well, you guys have a great rest of your day. And thank you once again for watching this episode of the Evan Phillips Show.